For most of my life, I dream of grand adventures without ever actually going on them. I have a lifetime of circled maps and torn out articles of faraway places that I still have yet to see. But eventually, I decided it was time to stop dreaming and start exploring, to live while I'm alive in the uncertain and short time that I do have. And so 5 years ago, my two best friends, Michael and Troy, and I vowed to go on one big adventure every year. We all knew that to live to the fullest, we'd have to truly commit to making adventure a priority. And so, without fail, each year we strip our lives down to the absolute essential and live fully in the moment, immersed in nature, for an unforgettable week. For this year, we'd be hiking, camping, and climbing through New Hampshire and Maine. And our first stop, rather foolishly, was Mount Washington. How heavy are you?
Okay.
Don't break it. But as beautiful as it was, the uphill was absolutely relentless.
The first real uphill first of many on this trip, for sure.
This being the first day of our trip, we weren't exactly in hiking shape, to say the least. And the fact that we had slept for only 2 hours the night before, unable to contain our excitement, didn't help either. We mostly hiked in silence, focused on each step that was in front of us, willing our bodies forward.
We made it! Let's go home. So I forgot my watch, which gives me like the exact distances, elevation, all that. Very handy to have, but I guess it fits the mood of being present here, right? And not worrying about mileage, just take it step by step.
To be honest, these trips weren't just about exploring cool places for me. The truth is, deep down, I need them. The world overwhelms me. The pace, the mania, the unfairness of it all, the scale, it weighs on my psyche. I felt more anxious in the past few years than all the years before. But these weeks once a year allow me to live with only the essential. I get to strip away everything that's unnecessary, physically and mentally. The only things that matter are walking, eating, sleeping, and absorbing the natural world.
Hello, friend. You're okay.
It's an amazing reset that makes me a better, happier, more compassionate, more patient person. And so the further we climbed, the slower the pace became. How do you feel, Michael?
I'm alright. Breathing.
Yeah. No food, no sleep. It's a lot. We weren't in any hurry. It wasn't about miles or pace. It was all about the experience. Taking a break. Almost halfway. You can see some summit. I don't know if that's ours, but...
What I love about this stream is it's moving and I'm not.
Eventually, we came upon Tuckerman's Ravine, an absolutely epic panorama that put our sighs and worries into perspective. And, of course, who doesn't love a good old-fashioned well?
Oh. Everyone took all the well water already? Yeah! Wait, help! I can't, I have my things in my hand.
Somebody... Got it. It's so cold.
Oh yeah.
Is it good?
I'm tempted now. Just with experience.
I wasn't gonna do it, but now I...
It's prime, baby. You'll get it.
Hiking up Tuckerman's Ravine was like entering Middle Earth. We were surrounded by this foreign landscape, headed towards this majestic waterfall for no reason in particular. There was truly no purpose in us being there, no grander scheme. We were, to use the old Patagonia phrase, conquerors of the useless. Hi guys. How you end up here? I know, a lot of hiking videos, shots of people, they set up the tripod, and they walk away, and then they walk towards it. And I've done some of that on this hike, but right now, that is not me, and that is not this section of trail. As you can see, we're going up. Michael below. Yeah, so, sorry about that. Choices. This is incredible. And it was on this ravine that things began to take a turn for the worse. Michael began having severe cramps in both calves and both quads. Each step was excruciating for him, with long rests in between short distances. With it being mid-afternoon, we had to have serious considerations about how we were going to get down the mountain, and at that point, the only way was up. Troy went ahead to reach the summit and see what our options were for getting down. I stayed with Michael in case he needed help. It was 3/4 of a mile to the summit, straight up a bunch of fallen rocks. At one point, Michael collapsed, and I could see a cramp the size of a baseball in his calf. Luckily, 2 other hikers saw what was happening and came by with Powerade and some salt tablets, and we were also going about the same pace as another couple who was having issues as well. It was a community we wouldn't have wanted to join at the start of the hike, but we couldn't have been more thankful at that point. Almost there. You can see Troy in a rush, but we're doing it. We're pretty much at the summit. After the longest half mile of our lives, Michael's Herculean effort was rewarded with the summit. We did it! Yes! Woo!
Oh my god, flat ground is so good.
Flat paved ground. Here, cut in front here. Troy's over here. How you feeling? Yeah?
I got pretty wounded there at the top.
Yeah.
And I just
Good job.
I had to push it.
This is huggable.
Michael, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oddly enough, we didn't really take much time to enjoy the view or the fact that we had accomplished this great feat. How do you feel?
I feel awful and amazing. It's a weird experience to basically have the lower half of your body shut down while you're hiking one of the highest mountains known to man and still get up. We did it.
Your 30 for 30 is in production. We had been so hyper-focused on the moment, on arriving safely, on contingency plans, that the summit didn't really matter. When we went to the visitor center and learned that a shuttle ride down the mountain would cost $150 for the 3 of us, Michael whipped out his credit card and said, "Best money I've ever spent." We did it. So, just waiting for the shuttle, because we don't want to hike down. You want to hike down?
No.
No. It's worth every freaking penny. In my younger years, I would have pretentiously scoffed at the idea of a shuttle down a mountain. If I drove down, I would have thought, then I haven't really hiked the mountain. That's not an adventure. That's weak. Thankfully, I'm much wiser now. After a delicious dinner and a boot full of water, we reached our campsite where I began to reflect on what this day meant for me. It had started in misery, running on little food and only a couple hours of sleep. But all of that misery was fueled by the uncontained excitement of the adventure ahead. Looking back, it's interesting how I honestly couldn't have cared less about reaching the summit. For the first time, I wasn't concerned about pace, miles, or elevation. I was simply enjoying each step, be it fast, slow, or filled with cramps. I took time to slow down and film, photograph, really appreciate my surroundings. Michael's injury put things in perspective. It showed that what truly mattered was being there for and with my friends. We could hike our own hike for our own purpose. Weeks later, as I reflect on this, my urge to chase summits is greatly diminished. It's there for sure, but it's more purposeful now. The metric that matters is how much I appreciate and enjoy the experience, and that's not something that can be tracked on a watch. At least not yet, anyway. But with all that being said, this was just the start of our adventure. In the morning, we needed to pack up and head out to our next destination. We were headed to Acadia National Park, and as much as I learned on Mount Washington, there was definitely a lot more for me to learn on this adventure.